Hello everyone. I hope you all are doing well today. And today, again, we are going to discuss a very interesting topic, which, if you are a startup or an SME, I'm sure this topic is going to be very helpful for you in terms of implementation in your organization. But before we start today's topic, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. And so, today, we are going to discuss about different kinds of organizational structures, as you can see on the screen. Honestly, a well defined organizational structure is crucial for any business as it establishes clear roles, responsibilities, and a chain of command, ensuring smooth operations within your organization. It also enhances effectiveness at your work, communication, dealing with internal employees, your staff members, stakeholders, and decision making, especially preventing confusion and duplication of efforts. A strong structure also promotes accountability, helps in resource allocation, and adapts to business growth. Whether hierarchical, metrics, or flat, the right structure aligns with company goals, boosts employee productivity, and supports long term success. Without it, businesses may face inefficiencies, role conflicts, duplication of work, poor coordination, ultimately impacting overall performance and sustainability and stability of the business. So it is so important to have an organizational structure made within your organization. So if you are a startup and confused that what kind of organizational structure that you need to create, I'm sure this video is going to help you. And if you are a small medium enterprise who already has an organizational structure but maybe is made by your consultant or an outsourced agency or an expert within your organization, but not sure if it's rightly made or not, created or not, then again this video will be helpful for you to understand that what kind of exactly structure aligns with your company goals and what should you actually need to create. So let's get started. Now let's understand centralized structure first. What is centralized structure? A centralized structure is where business decisions are made at the top of the business or in a head office and distributed down the chain of command. It is often used in startups or in a very small, medium scale enterprises, especially small scale industries. It is also used in certain retail chains as in India, we call it as Kirana stores. Traditionally, organizations have been structured with centralized leadership and a defined chain of command. The military, for instance, is an organization famous for its highly centralized structure with a long and specific hierarchy of superiors and subordinates. In a centralized organizational system, there are very clear responsibilities for each role, with subordinate roles defaulting to the guidance of their superiors. Now, another structure you can follow is decentralized structure. A company with a decentralized organizational structure is one where mid-level and lower-level managers make most of the decisions rather than the senior management team. Sometimes management team also involves team members in the decision making process. There has been a rise in decentralized organizations, as in the case with many technology startups these days. This allows companies to remain fast, agile, and adaptable, with almost every employee receiving a high level of personal agency. For example, Johnson & Johnson is a company that's known for its decentralized structure since many years. If you remember other companies that follows decentralized structure, do mention in the comment section below. Now, there's this hierarchical structure, and it is typically for larger businesses and organizations. It relies on having different levels of authority with a chain of command connecting multiple management levels within the organization. Employees here may be grouped by their role or function, geography, or type of products or services they provide. This structure is often depicted as a pyramid because there are multiple levels of authority, with the highest level of leadership at the top, their direct employees below them, and so forth. Now, next is functional structure. Now, a functional structure is a team structure that groups employees into different departments based on areas of expertise. This type of structure is one of the most common types in business, where groups of employees are organized according to the function they perform. For example, an organization may have marketing, finance, and sales departments, and other departments as well, of course, that are each overseen by a manager who also has a supervisor that oversees multiple departments. A functional structure can be beneficial because departments can trust that their employees have the skills and expertise to support their goals. Uh, I think many manufacturing companies, especially, function in terms of functional structure because they follow sometimes the compliance of ISO 9001, where they distribute the responsibilities department wise, be it human resource, sales and marketing, vendor development, purchase department, production department, planning department, post delivery department, etc. etc. So I think functional department is very beneficial when your structure is the work structure is in a manner where you have divided roles based on in terms of departments. Now let's understand a metric structure. Now, a metric structure is a combination of two or more types of organizational structures. It is a way of arranging your business so that you set up reporting relationships as a grid or a matrix rather than following in the traditional hierarchy. The metric structure is typically used by large organizations, multinational organizations, and promotes sharing skills and knowledge across departments to complete goals. Now, honestly, this structure is very subjective based on size of your company, organization, department structure. You can create your own metric structure. You can create your own manner of grid or metrics that you would like to in terms of communication, change of command, decision making, etc. Now, a flat organizational structure is one in which there are very few levels of middle management in between leadership and employees, or in certain situations, none at all. Small businesses and startups frequently have an organizational structure that is flat due to their small size and no need for hierarchical administration. In a flat organizational structure, most middle management levels are removed, so there is little separating staff level employees from upper management. It may also be referred to as a horizontal structure, as you can see on the screen. Now, talking about divisional structure, organizations are split into divisions based on specific products, services, or geographies. For this reason, this structure is typically used by large companies that operate in broad geographic areas or own separate smaller companies. Each division has its executive leadership, departments, and resources. For example, a large corporation such as General Electric has divisions for electronics, transportation, and aviation, each with its own team of accountants, marketeers, etc. For example, a large software company may separate its organization based on prototypes. So there's a cloud software division, a corporate software division, and a personal computing software division as well. And some other examples you can see from the picture that I've pasted on your screen right now, that it's displayed. A network organizational structure is a system that involves interacting with internal and external parties to deliver a product or service. This structure focuses more on open communication and relationships than hierarchy. The concept underlying the network structure is the social network, a social structure of interactions, open communication, and reliable partners. Both internally and externally, are key components of social networks and specifically this structure. For example, suppose an organization designs shirts for customers and has leaders who rather focus on design than production or retail. And it's an example of network structure. Now, talking about line structure, I think it is one of the simplest types of organizational structure. In a line structure, authority within the organization flows from top to bottom and there are no specialized or supportive services. The organization is typically divided into departments overseen and controlled by a general manager, and each department has its manager with authority over its staff. The departments work independently to support the organization's primary goal. Now, the another type of structure is team-based structure. In a team-based organizational structure, employees are grouped into skill-based teams to work on a specific task while working towards a common goal. Often, this is a very flexible structure that allows employees to move from team to team as they complete projects. This structure focuses on problem solving and employee cooperation. They encourage less hierarchy in their structure, allowing organizations more flexibility from their professionals. Now, talking about a circular structure, a circular organizational structure relies on a hierarchy to depict higher level employees within the inner rings of a circle and the lower level employees on the outer rings. Seated at the center of the organization, leaders do not send orders down the chain of command but rather outward. While many other structures types contain different departments that work independently with individual groups, this structure removes that strict separation. It looks at the bigger picture with all departments being part of the same whole one group. Now, there's another structure which is process-based structure. In a process-based structure, the organization is designed around the flow of its processes and how the duties performed by its employee interact with one another. Instead of flowing from top to bottom, this structure outlines services from left to right, as you can see on the screen. An executive at the top of the structure oversees the departments below, representing the different processes, but each process cannot start until the one before it has finished. And each department will have its own management and team working to fulfill its duties so that the business can move on to the next task and eventually reach its goal, such as maybe selling a product to consumers. Talking about the difference, this process-based structure cannot work in a project-based agile environment where you need to have changes in your entire process time to time to complete the project. So this cannot work in an agile project-based setup, work structure, but it can surely work in a waterfall method. Even if it's a project-based setup, it can, but if your base is in terms of waterfall method, a traditional method, where once you fix a process, you cannot change it, then this process-based structure can work wonderfully. Now, I'll make a separate video on this, the exact difference between what I'm talking about right now, waterfall and agile method, maybe in a separate video. But as I said, this is more beneficial in terms of a waterfall method, traditional method, where once a process is fixed, it cannot be changed. So that's it for today's video. I hope this video was insightful for you. If you are running a startup or want to enter into the startup world, or are handling operations of a small medium enterprise and you are not clear about what kind of organizational structure you are following and how to create it. You have examples of all the structures now, and reflect upon what you are following and what you really need to make changes in your current organizational structure based on your operating methods, work structure, roles and responsibilities, chain of command, decision making, etc. Reflect upon it, and I'm sure it will be helpful for you. So stay tuned for many more such interesting videos, articles, stories, case studies, models, method, etc. related to management. I'll see you next week.